This event is all about investment and how the relevant stakeholders play their part to ensure that investors and tourists spend their money on the African continent, but not only the African continent as per se, but also globally. When we look at the infrastructure, road infrastructure specifically, we heard earlier on that there is improvement, but challenges still remain. But the African leaders are taking part in those robust discussions to see how they can forge ahead to ensure that economic growth is taking place on the African continent, but also more specifically for the Northern Cape and also for South Africa. And I'm joined by Rian Wadi, and he is from the Northern Cape Economic Development, and just to tell us about the economic development's plan to ensure that economic growth is taking place through the tourism sector.
Okay. Good morning, and thanks for the opportunity. Firstly, today's focus is mainly on mobility, logistics and transportation. And basically the purpose of transportation is to fulfill the demand for mobility. It's about the movement of passengers, of freight and of information. When you talk about the economy, it's about linking your natural resources with industries and markets. If you take the example of the Northern Cape, currently most of our mineral commodities, our agricultural produce are leaving or are exported out of the province through ports in other provinces. That basically means that the cost of our products to market is increased, which makes us which makes it a bit difficult when it comes to competitiveness. However, on the west coast, we are building or developing a port which is called the Buchubai port, which will, of course, then mainly focus on the exports of Northern Cape commodities, agricultural produce, but also the export of green hydrogen to the export market.
Talking about those exports, how will this be beneficial for the tourism sector?
You've mentioned that studies suggest that 30 to 40% of tourists spend their budget, of course, on transportation. If you look at long distances, normally flights cover long distances, and currently we've got direct flights from Joburg to Kimberley, and of course also to Upington. But most of the tourists prefer organized tours, travel by road, travel with luxury buses. And fortunately, the Northern Cape has got an extensive road infrastructure that gives them easy access to our tourist attractions. Also, if you look at the GDP contribution of the sector, currently the transport sector contributes 8% to the gross domestic product of the province, which is also an indication of the importance of the sector to the province.
Although there is a glimmer of hope, and with all these projects happening specifically in the Northern Cape, challenges also remain?
Of course, there's always challenges, But of course, we are trying to turn our challenges into opportunities. Hence, we have developed the Northern Cape Industrial Corridor. And I would like to draw your attention to 4 high-impact projects along the Northern Cape Industrial Corridor. Firstly is the Kathu Industrial Park. It is a 1.4 billion rand investment which will create about just over 200 permanent jobs. It will mainly be a service center for the iron ore and manganese belt in the Postmasburg-Hotezel area. Secondly is the Upington Industrial Park that will support the renewable energy sector, the aviation sector, vehicle testing fraternity as well as agro-processing. That is a 795 million rand investment which will create 150 permanent jobs. Then on the 25th of May, Cabinet has designated the Namakwa SEZ. The Namakwa SEZ is a 26 billion rand investment. The major anchor there is Vedanta Zinc International that will establish a zinc smelter. 2,000 permanent jobs will be created. And during the construction phase, up to 8,000 temporary jobs will be created. And then last but not least is of course the Buchubai port and the green hydrogen development. That project has got an investment value of 700 billion rand. between 2020 and 2025 and 2035, 13,000 direct and indirect job opportunities will be created.
Thank you so much. That was Marianne Wari, and he's from the Northern Cape Economic Development Department, just telling us about the projects that will further contribute immensely to the country's gross domestic product, and also further put the Northern Cape on the map. But also, importantly, is the fact that those projects are going to create much needed jobs, because we know that job opportunities, it's a huge concern for many young South Africans. But investors, tourists will be spoiled for choice when those projects are done, and also when government is going to sit and discuss and address those challenges that they are facing when it comes to transportation and how it contributes to the tourism sector.